The idea is to use the transformative and accelerative power of digitalization to achieve the objectives of the AU's Agenda 2063. You see, so we're back to my conversation again. 2057 is the year of Ghana at 100. What are the youth? The last Ghana Stats survey said what? We have 1.9 million Ghanaian youth in what they call NEET, not employed, educated, or in training. So the youth's position cannot be any more important. The crucial role that they are going to play as this continent, this country and this continent goes into this digital drive, we cannot run away from it. The old folks, some don't even have email addresses, and they are fine. They'll be fine. They don't need it. But then if we're moving into an era where digitalization becomes very pivotal, Africa needs you to understand this. In terms of the sustainable development goals, what are Africa's youth doing in terms of using digital pathways to get there? We look at the 17 SDGs. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. You look at all these 17, and there is so much that the youth can do, especially with the how conversant they are with the digital space. I mean, off the top of my head, there are some that evidently without tech we can't even go there, and there are some that will struggle to do even without tech. So yes, to help us in this conversation, he's executive director of the Africa Center for Digital Transformation, ACDT. His name is Kwesi Chiahini. He's a big man. He's here with us in the studio, looking all dapper. Good morning, Kwesi.
Good morning, Jerry.
Finally.
I'm looking at you and smiling. I'm excited to see you in person,
Charlie Biso, I mean,
I
on
have
Wednesdays.
some confessions.
Please do.
I have visited a few radio stations and TV stations. But
Okay.
Charlie, Zed is top-notch.
Yeah, Zed is like that. A lot of people don't know. But
It's top-notch.
Yeah.
Trust me. I don't know how come you have such a gold mine of brains and environment, from the reception to the technical men here, and I don't know. I think you should really beef up and throw yourself out there.
Yeah, we should be more findable.
Your standard is the BBC standard.
True.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Z
you
is
very
the
much.
BBC standard.
Thank you so much, Kwesi. Thank you so much for your kind words. You've been in this digital space for a while now.
Yes.
Ghana Youth Month 2024. I mean, first of all, it's interesting that on Monday the former president launched the NDC's Youth Manifesto. So,
Yes.
I mean, the youth are in the conversation, and even today, the NUGS president had even questioned some of the things that were said at the Youth Manifesto.
Yes.
How important are the youth for Africa's future?
It is very, very important, and we cannot even underestimate the importance of it. Professor Jampo made a profound statement, I think, on Friday on his Facebook wall, and I will seize the opportunity to just re-mention it again, that the history of Ghana's politics has always been a conversation of the youth.
Wow,
Yes.
that's deep.
It's always been a conversation of the youth, right from the days of Nkrumah all through till now. There are a few people that I've come across, like the current president that became president at an elderly age. But most of the people that we have seen emerge from the ministers that we had, former President Kufuor became a minister at the age of 26. We've had a number of people coming up. And it's about time that the people that enjoyed the goodies, who have become the prominent faces of our generation, put in place the right measures to make life more comfortable for the emerging generation. My uncle tells me that there was a time in the history of Ghana where students at the University of Ghana were being fed 3 times in a day.
Yeah.
And they actually went on demonstration because they were giving them chicken every time.
Interesting.
You know, and they were demonstrating. And realistically, at the time these people were demonstrating, they were having one in a room in terms of their halls, where some of them, their wives can even come and visit and spend time with them. Those who enjoy these goodies are the people who are currently leading the country in different fronts. And unfortunately, they haven't made life much more easier for the children that have come after them. I think a couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, the Daily Graphic published a report from the Ghana Statistical Service, and it was heartbreaking. How we have almost 2 million younger people with no education, no training, and no job.
Yeah.
And they must survive. And they must live by the laws of the country.
Okay.
So how on earth can someone live by the laws of the country with no training, with no job, and with no education? You know, so the people who are currently the elders of our society need to beef up. Because if you look at the Bible carefully, any time that a leader has dishonored God, the same God that chose you always chooses another person to replace you.
Definitely.
And you do not want a situation where elders are there, but younger people have been appointed to rule over them. It is an error that Solomon will say, that is an error under the sun. So as we celebrate International Youth Day, it's important that we reflect.
Okay.
And go back to the drawing board. Take advantage of the emerging opportunities, especially in the digital space. How we can prepare our people and position them to compete with the world. Look, Jerry, now countries are run like businesses.
Nice. That's what I keep saying here every day.
Yes. Countries are run like businesses. Ghana is in a competition with Cote d'Ivoire. Ghana is in a competition with China. Well, we cannot compare our strength. But indefinitely, we are in competition with each other. Our people are in competition with each other.
We are.
That we are educating our people and hoping that they get the best kind of jobs out there. Other countries have seen this and have gone ahead of us. Cuba, they've invested so much in training their people to be medically inclined, medical professionals, and they are exporting them. As for Indians,
that's interesting.
As for Indians, they are even all over the world.
Yeah,
look,
they are.
The big tech firms are being managed by Indians. The IT technical minds are being, and it's a conscious effort by countries and the leadership of the country.
They are intentional.
Intentional.
That's the word.
Look, last Sunday, my pastor was telling me that, look, anytime you see someone, and my pastor, I go to the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry, Reverend
Steve Mensah.
Yes. I'm in the branch at Ashalibo.
Okay.
So our resident pastor there is Reverend Christian Nikwe.
Okay.
And he was telling me that anytime you see someone, a group of people doing something and is working, there is always people behind who are doing something very deliberate. Very, very deliberate.
Not accidental. It just doesn't come.
Yes.
Somebody has sat, thought through, and is executing a plan to the letter.
Exactly. Look, one of the biggest charismatic churches in Ghana is the ICGC. The leading face of the church has mentioned multiple times that he started the church in his 20s. I think 24 and a half. He said in and half. He started the church as a young person. Today, we owe our youth the duty to position them and make sure that they are taking advantage of the emerging trends. They are taking advantage of the opportunities in the digital space. I would proceed and say that I followed the conversation of the youth manifesto that was launched by the NDC. As a matter of fact, our center was invited.
Oh, wow.
I went there with the team of our software engineers, cybersecurity aspect. We sat there, we observed. The conversation I have followed, and it's not just the NDC. 2 months ago, I attended a program at the World Bank office. And everybody's big on training Ghanaians, training as digital training and all of that. Look,
Yeah.
I think we have overestimated it. It's about
1 million
time.
coders.
1 million coders. It's about time we put money and we are intentional about producing Ghanaian tech firms. Because you train our people and they become employees to multinationals who make the big money and send the money abroad.
Okay.
So we must lift the conversation. Of course, the training is good. I'm not against the training. But we must lift the conversation from just training people and leaving them to go and look for jobs.
We must be intentional about creating huge Ghanaian tech firms.
Exactly.
The Ghanaian Googles and the Ghanaian whatever they are. Interesting.
We must be intentional about it. Because if you are not intentional, look, I mean, to move away from poverty, you must play with your strength. You must play by your strength. You must look at the things you are stronger in, focus on them, nurture them. Then eventually, it makes up for your weaknesses. As a country, our biggest strength is the lands we have.
Okay.
We have fertile lands. Look, there's something we call precision agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
where you can blend digital technologies with farming.
So that you know a particular plant, what it is lacking. So that you pinpoint that plant and give him the NPK he needs.
Exactly. Look, I have said multiple times that the national service we have, if I was in a position of it, you would make the national service not compulsory.
Okay.
Allow people to apply for them when they are done with school. Those that will apply, build bungalows and secure lands, divide them, make them managers, employ them. When they come, they have a place to stay, they have a car to drive, they have good money. Younger people starting life, thousands of people may apply. You would use the right drones, the right sensors to mechanize the farming and take advantage, export the goods. Eventually, you can now proceed into other fields. If you have not been able to get the baseline right, how do you start conversation about going to the space? I saw it circulating.
We're launching a rocket.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, we'll launch a rocket.
No, it's a beautiful thing, Jerry.
Launch
Don't
a
get it wrong. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, ambitions are good.
Yeah.
But
Let's feed ourselves first.
You have 1 point, almost 2 million people with no jobs, but with strength to work.
Put them on the field.
Put them on the field. Use the right technologies. Okay, let's refine the way we do our entrepreneurship. One of the government agencies that I'm convinced they are doing very well is the
NEIP?
NEIP.
Yeah, I know.
They are doing very well.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with what they are doing because they are driving the tech innovations with their partnerships with the World Bank, their partnership with the MEST, and they are driving a certain conversation in the technological space. It's a beautiful thing. But the same NEIP can be empowered to have more meaningful relationship and cover the deficit of employment we have in the country. I think the bigger conversation about training people in coding and all of it,
1 million coders.
it's possible. But why can't we even engage our universities to simply refine the courses? Jerry, how hard it is?
I don't know.
Should it be very difficult to because usually if you want to launch a program, there are institutions that are in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
The government agencies the government institutions are largely in sync. University of Ghana is still running programs in archaeology, social work, sociology, and many of social science courses.
Mhm.
They all feed into a bigger component of our society generally. But if you really want to embark on very loud, intensive, aggressive training of the young minds, it's a matter of engaging public universities to refine the courses so that once you campaign, a lot more people can be trained in a 4-year degree period in that space. Once they are done, you have empowered those who have gone ahead of them to be able to employ them and lead that conversation from that front.
Interesting.
I firmly do believe that the former president have some very good intentions. When he was a president, he started the Accra Digital Center.
Yep.
And the intention of it, I believe, was to drive that conversation of the 1 million coders at the time, that the digital center would be distributed across the country, and they would drive the innovation, the digital innovation, build incubators, accelerators. People will pitch ideas, they'll refine it, then eventually it picks up from there. But beyond that, someone cannot go and spend 4-year period in a university doing a different course. Finish, the person is looking for a job, and that's when the person must come and do 3 months, 6 months of training. Let's just refine our program so that it feeds into directly what we want to do, and that's what China has been able to do.
Interesting.
Look,
they've used tech.
Exactly. The bigger contention between the US and the China is the fact that the Chinese have been able to develop a model for themselves. And they are replicating that model to assist other countries to follow suit.
Interesting.
So we must, as a country, as we celebrate the International Youth Day, to sit back, look at the strength of our younger people coming in. How can we empower them? Not just because we have people who have been trained, who can code. The last time I was invited to UNICEF's program at the University of Ghana, and the conversation is around digital public good. I met fine Ghanaian brains, Jerry, Ghanaians. Smart guys. With the ability to develop amazing digital products. You have no idea.
We've not tapped into that resource at all. We've not even tapped into 1% of that resource.
Yes.
So the challenges we're facing in meeting these SDGs, you're saying that these brains are there, that if we made it conducive for them, they will solve our problems.
Yes. The big apps we use in Ghana are not Ghanaian products. As a matter of fact, when our country wants to engage tech firms for any ministerial innovation, or either they form the company themselves and award the contract to themselves, or they prefer to engage an external company, then they can do the negotiation back or whatever. That mindset has been one of the biggest blockades of our progress, because it is not the case that we do not have the Ghanaian brains to develop companies, tech firms that can provide solutions to our problems. It's not the case.
The brains are here.
We have a lot more Ghanaians. Some of them have been privileged to even school abroad. They've gone to Harvard. They've gone to MIT. And they are there.
All they need is a system that says,
come back home. We will set up a company. You work with this government ministry. Come back home, you do this. Come back home, you do that.
We should be deliberate about bringing them home.
Exactly. So for me, I have been very reflective, Jerry. I mean, seeing you has sparked off some excitement.
Yeah, I'm like that on Wednesdays.
Yeah. But I've been very reflective. That where is our country going? And I remember, I think a couple of years ago, the Archbishop Duncan Williams was being interviewed by Paul Adumatri. And he said that the Lord showed him a vision. And he believed strongly that if the African leaders do not set up and they do not find solution to address the issues happening to younger people, what will happen, they will not be able to contain. This was before the Kenya protest.
Now we are somewhere in Nigeria and all
Yes. Look,
that. An African Spring is starting.
yes, President Ruto, some of the decisions he's made in the last month and in the last four weeks, if he has made those same decisions 6 months ago, he would have been a hero. In fact, the world would have rated him far above President Paul Kagame.
But he didn't.
Yes, he had to be pushed to the wall to make those decisions. And those presidents who are currently safely in charge must take lessons from him. You don't have to wait to be pushed to the wall to make the right decisions. No.
Because now it seems like whatever he's doing, he's not even appeasing them.
Yes, I mean the conversation, and that is how come I tell all of my friends, look, listen to Zed. If you tune into our radio stations and you listen to the conversations on politics, the conversations on nation building, it's almost as though NDC, when you had a chance, these are the wrongs you did. So we too, if you've done wrong, wrong benchmarking is almost, someone is a typical example like, okay, you are beating your wife and they are saying, stop beating your wife. Then so even my neighbor just killed his wife. So if I am just beating my wife, it's even okay.
Wrong is wrong.
Wrong benchmarking. Wrong comparison. Those who came before did wrong. That's how come they were sacked. If you are here, did the right thing, like try and do the right thing. Try and do the right thing.
I'm interested in this discussion because for us as Z, the idea is enough of that. Let's chart a new pathway.
Yes.
Now, for you at the Africa Center for Digital Transformation, where the key is to use digital means to transform.
Yes.
If we look at our agri space, because if we're going to fight hunger, we must go into the agri space, which is the second SDG. You were saying that there is enough brains and there is enough available technology to ensure that we feed ourselves, but we are not doing that, and you blame it squarely on leadership.
Yes. Look, the nature of constitution we have in our country is such that you need one man to think right and say, we are doing this, and every other person will follow. That's the nature of constitution we have.
Executive president.
You need the president to say that, look, we are going to invest in agriculture led by Ghanaian firms. And anybody who comes against this, I'm going to punish you for it. And every other person will follow.
We'll toe the line.
Yes. So if we are not doing it, it is the president and the president that have come and gone that we must blame, at least under the Fourth Republican Constitution. We currently have more imports of food.
It's true.
Than clothing.
It's true.
We import more to eat.
We do.
Than to learn and create anything for our future. So why can't we start from there? Why can't we start from there and be able to feed ourselves with the right technologies in place?
Kwesi, you know the old Arise Ghana Youth for Your Country tune?
Yes.
There are about 3 or 4 stanzas.
Mm-hmm.
We just learned the stanza 1.
Mm-hmm.
The stanza 2 says, go back to the land, then Ghanaians, exploit to the full her resources. No nation thrive on empty stomach, so help to feed yourselves.
Yeah.
Written way back.
Yes.
What is our problem? I mean, if it doesn't get any clearer than this. He said, go back to the land. Exploit the resources God has given to you. And when you, so that's why I was impressed when it said our biggest comparative advantage is the lands that we have.
Yes, it's the lands that we have. Look, there is no place in Ghana. I mean, I run a center that is into digital transformation.
Exactly.
Why would I be talking about agriculture? It's not directly under what we do. But the reality as Ghanaians is that if we would want to make progress from where we sit now, let's play on our strength. Everywhere in Ghana, if you plant something, you'll get a result. Quite recently, I attended a program. I met a Spanish man who has traveled all the way from Spain to come and plant rice in on the Volta region stretch, the southern part of Volta on the Agbozome road going. Yeah, he said he secured some lands there and he wants to develop a rice farm.
Spanish
man. And he has come with money to come and develop. He was asking me to recommend people and all of that. So we got into a meeting. And Ghanaians can equally do that. But they need the backing of their government to push them to do that. Because if someone just finished school, the person is looking at doing national service and would earn 559. That 559 barely may serve as transport to the national service office. And at the end of the month, the person will use the rest of the 100 to buy data on the phone and perhaps that's it. Assuming you have the right infrastructure, blending the digital opportunities available and the right strategies and pushing them into the agricultural space, making sure that, look, everyone who wants to do national service, we will move you from Accra. We will center you between Ashanti region and the Bunahafo. They have very fertile land there.
The Bunahafo region used to feed us.
Yes. We will build 1-bedroom apartments. When you come, you have a place to sleep. The senior ones among you with master's, PhD, we will give you a car. You will be supervisors. You have government farms that employ people. Pay them 2,000, 3,000. They will start their families there. They would work. We would carry those products, export them. We would make money. Look, back in the days, in the early 2000s, Ghana's biggest source of foreign exchange, aside the gold, was cocoa. Today, the story is different. Ghana used to make $2 billion from cocoa, fresh. Now they are not even making up to $800,000 million. So even the cocoa, my brothers who are into cocoa farming Sefi are telling me that, look, they want to stop and cut it and use it for galamsey. And I've been coming, oh, Charlie, let's not spoil the land. Let's not join. Yeah, but a lot of people in the Western North region, which also used to be the cocoa hub for our country, they are converting their lands into galamsey sites. Yes.
Sad.
So we must look, and we don't have a lot of time.
33 years from today, we are 100.
We don't have the luxury of time. Even the next 4 years, we don't have a lot. If we don't set up a bit, all the things happening in Kenya and happening in Nigeria may take a turn in Ghana. And already,
we're nice people. We're cool. We're calm.
We are very cool people.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
We wouldn't even go on the streets. We wouldn't go demonstrate. Why would we do that?
Oh yes,
we're afraid.
We are afraid. Are you sure?
With DOSA.
You know, I mean,
one of the other SDGs I want us to touch on, health and well-being.
Yes.
How are we using, or how can the youth use the digital space to help in terms of health and well-being? Yeah.
I think about in 2017, there's a company that emerged in Ghana. They signed a contract with the government of Ghana. It's called Zipline.
Okay.
Zipline has been around, and they've been using their drones to distribute medical equipment, medical supplies to different parts of the country, and as part of it, they also distribute blood. On Friday, I was asking someone, what is the future of Zipline in Ghana? And Zipline is not a Ghanaian company. I hope you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Zipline, imagine Zipline was owned by a Ghanaian youth. Their contract was 12.5 million. That person has family. That person goes to church or will be in a mosque.
That money would have stayed inside him.
That money would stay in Ghana. That money will stay in Ghana. The person would create, and the money would impact Ghanaians here. In the health space, there are big conversations and big digital opportunities emerging. There's a gentleman that created an app that helps hospitals to manage their social welfare cases. So usually when you go to the hospital, most hospitals have social welfare people attached to them. And when you get there and you don't have the means to pay, or you have been there for a longer time, your families are not checking up on you, the app helps to regulate the time you entered, which family has checked up on you, what are the issues, and they can follow up from there. And I think that the Ministry of Social Welfare and Gender Protection has adopted that app.
Oh, wow.
That app was developed by some Ghanaian team. And their life has changed since the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection adopted the app. And they are using it on a broader scale at the ministry level. Ghanaians. And that's what we are talking about. So it is important that we are intentional about not just... I enjoy the training part of it, but you don't train people, then give the best of the money and
the contracts and everything,
and the contract to a foreign entity. Let's encourage our Ghanaian firms. Let's encourage them to produce products that fit in the health digital space.
Interesting.
And be able to take advantage. Look, a lot of the medical technologies we use are imported. I think a couple of weeks ago, there were conversations about some dialysis and issues and all of that. Yeah. And eventually we are being told that there are some new ones in town and all of that. These are huge money. So it's important we are putting minds there to understand and build our own technology. Some of them definitely we have to import, because even the US is still importing from China importing from different countries. That's okay. But we don't have to run an economy where we import everything.
Okay.
So as we train the Ghanaian minds, as we train the Ghanaian youth, as we build them to know what is happening, that's digital literacy, set up conferences, festivals, pitch ideas, and all of that. We are also making sure that the country and the government of Ghana is investing money into them, is giving them leverage, opportunities, and all of that.
Interesting. This morning, I had a conversation with Professor Mahamoud Akudugu, who is the national president of UTAG, University Teachers Association of Ghana. We're talking about the educational system and all that. It's one of the SDGs, quality education. How are the Ghanaian youth that are tech savvy are going to push this agenda? Because I asked him why tech is not helping reduce congested lecture theaters, overburdened lecturers, and infrastructural development. How is tech going to play that role? We have just about 5 minutes to leave here, but then we should have that conversation. Let's look at the education.
I want to share something. It was posted on the Ashasi University page.
Okay.
There's a young lady, and let me just quickly. There's a young lady called Amanda Eniweje.
Okay.
It says that Eniweje's father hadn't been seeing his doctor for regular checkups. When he experienced a scared concern of his heart's health. This motivated Amanda to create a device that would give individuals like her father more control over their health. A smartwatch for health monitoring. It measures the heart rate, variability, blood oxygen concentration, yes, so blood oxygen concentration.
I would love to know how old she is.
She's in Ashasi University.
Interesting.
And the truth is that these innovations are not even the first to come up. These are the innovations that must be encouraged. These are the innovations that must be adopted. Because if you look at I don't know how many University of Ghana computer science students you have heard the university post that they are doing things like this. I don't know. It's been a long time. Maybe you can remind me.
Wait a minute. This was posted by the university itself.
This was posted on the
university's Facebook page.
Oh, wow. And you see, the twist is that our public institutions, last year, there was a Facebook page conversation that was trending about some technical universities in Kumasi. And as part of their project work, they had developed some what they call code pots. Nice code pots. We'll put some charcoal inside and it was trending.
Nice.
The private investors, Palm University, Academic City University, Ashasi University, are leading a certain conversation that our public investors can even learn from. But our public investors are obsessed with their ancient glory, Premier University. This one, we are this, we are that. And because they have a chunk of numbers, when you go to University of Ghana, a class can be about 300, 400, with one lecturer marking all of it. All their papers, assignments, making sure you are doing recommendation for all students and all of that. It is important that we break them down. The University of Ghana, I believe, they need more lecturers, but they cannot employ.
He said it. The UTAC president
said it.
Yeah.
I believe they need more lecturers because if you have one person handling 300, 400 students, how on earth can you have the time to guide your student to come up with such innovations? So we have a mass and a chunk of people going through University of Ghana. I read computer science. I read mathematics. I read statistics. I read computer engineering. I read this. But when they come out, they have memorized, they have chewed, they have passed, but with no innovation, no solving of problem.
Actually, the prof said that was one of his worries, that we would very soon have doctors who can doctor, lecturers who can lecture, and judges who can judge.
Yes. And that is a very important conversation that if somebody is running for president, it should be the top-notch priority of the person. Look, the National Development Planning Commission, Jerry, this year, I think 2 months or 3 months, they launched a 20-year development plan.
It was supposed to be 40-something, but because we didn't do it now it's like 33-year plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so Ghana is 100
years, yes.
Beautiful.
Vision 2057.
Good. Those who are running for president, the things they are saying, I believe some of them are not even inside. At least including the phone one.
Of
course. So we'll give you a phone, you pay one CD. It's not in the vision. And see, these people who are running for president should be able to pick up those conversations and say that this is a document developed by a government institutions. Whoever become president, we will do it. We will work on it. The next person that comes after me will develop it. We will build a nation from the plan that we have developed by ourselves.
Professor Kudugu said, what are our KPIs as a nation that we are measuring ourselves by? Evidently, we have too many KPIs. Everybody has their own that they are bringing to the board. Kwesi, you need to come back. We need to continue this conversation. My producer just alerted. In fact, he's not even a producer. He's a production assistant. I've been elected. I was just about wrapping up for the show. Kwesi Chiaini is the Executive Director of Africa Center for Digital Transformation. We've been looking at the youth role, the digital pathways for sustainable development. We've just started on even 3. We skirted on just 3 or 4 of the 17 SDGs. Kwesi needs to come back for us to continue this conversation. It's exciting talking to him. But listeners and viewers watching us all too soon. Well, we have to wrap up for the show. It's done. It's a Wednesday edition. Is done for good. 14th August edition is coming back again. Thank you so much for being with us on this 4-hour journey. We're softly landing on the tarmac. 10 o'clock news is coming up next, and then after that, Her Royal Majesty in terms of mid morning is coming back. She's NYA, the brand with the brighter side. We'll do that. She's going to take you after that. But don't forget, 12 midday, 12 live, solid news bulletin. You don't want to miss that. Kwesi, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Have a great one.
I've enjoyed my time.
You should. All too soon. We're living, but we won't.